You know, sometimes in life, people are going to misunderstand you. They're going to doubt you, mock your dreams, question your ambition, and even laugh at your progress, especially when you're just getting started. But let me tell you something valuable today. You don't always have to respond. You don't always have to fight. You don't need to explain your every move to people who never cared to understand it in the first place. The greatest power you'll ever learn in this life is the power to walk away, to outgrow the noise, to rise above the bitterness, to outwork the critics, work the critics, and most of all, to ignore them. Now, when I say ignore them, I don't mean become bitter. I mean become focused. The best revenge is not a comeback speech. It's not proving them wrong in words. It's proving it through growth, through results, through transformation. See, when you ignore them, you strip them of power. You take away the attention they crave. You stop fueling their fire and start building your own. Your success becomes the message. Your peace becomes the punchline. Your elevation becomes the echo, long after you've gone silent. Some people don't deserve a seat at your table. Not because you're better than them, but because you've simply chosen peace over pettiness. Let the doubters doubt. Let the mockers mock. Let the cynics stay stuck. But you keep going. Keep learning, keep building, keep growing. Ignore the noise, because nothing screams louder than success spoken in silence. And the truth is, when you reach the next level, you won't even have time to explain how you did it. You'll be too busy living the life they thought you never could. So remember this, when they can't reach your level, they'll try to pull you down to theirs. Your job is simple. Don't go. Ignore them. Not because they don't matter, but because your growth matters more. Silence is strength. You don't need to respond to every insult or doubt. You don't need to defend yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Some words are designed to distract you, to pull you into an argument that drains your time, your focus, and your energy. But when you stay silent, you're choosing control. You're choosing to rise above it. Not everything thrown at you deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves a response. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing and keep moving forward, because silence isn't weakness, it's discipline. It's the discipline to stay committed to your goals when others try to pull you into their chaos. It's the wisdom to know that your energy is more valuable than their opinion. They want a reaction. They want you to break your momentum. They want you to prove something to them. It's them. But you don't owe anyone proof of your worth. You don't owe anyone a reaction just because they feel entitled to one. Silence is how you protect your focus. It's how you protect your peace. It's how you keep your eyes on what matters, your growth, your path, your future. Sometimes silence is not retreat. It's strategy. It's knowing that when you stop feeding the drama, it dies. It's realizing that when you stop explaining yourself, you finally start hearing your own voice. Silence teaches you patience. It reminds you that not every fire needs to be fought. Some flames die on their own when left unfed. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them criticize. Their noise does not define your journey. Your actions do. Your habits do. Your mindset does. And when you stay silent in the face of doubt, you give yourself the gift of clarity. You hear yourself better. You focus deeper. You think sharper. And most of all, you build confidence. Not the kind that needs to be loud, but the kind that doesn't flinch under pressure. Silence doesn't mean you're afraid. It means you're grounded. It means you've learned to let your life speak for itself. There's a quiet kind of power that comes from knowing who you are and not needing to prove it. When you stop trying to convince others, you free yourself to become the best version of you. For you. You stop wasting time trying to win small battles and start preparing for a greater victory. That's what silence does. It shifts your energy inward. It sharpens your focus. It reminds you that your progress is louder than any argument. So when they insult, stay silent. When they doubt you, stay consistent. When they provoke, stay calm. You don't have to fight noise with more noise. You just keep going, because eventually the results will speak. And your silence, it will echo louder than words ever could. That focus is revenge. Success speaks louder than any comeback. You don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to argue to win. You don't have to clap back when life hands you disrespect. You simply focus. You lock in. You tune out the noise, the doubters, the distractions, because real revenge isn't loud. It's quiet. It's in the hours no one sees. It's in the consistency when no one's clapped. It's in the grind when everyone else is sleeping. That's focus, and that's how you win. You don't win by chasing validation. You win by building value. You don't rise by reacting. You rise by working. Let the others talk. Let them post. Let them brag about things they haven't earned. While they're trying to look successful, you're becoming successful. While they're trying to impress, you're trying to improve. That's focus, and it's rare. Because most people want to be seen more than they want to be great. But when you make focus your weapon, you don't need to be loud. You let your success become the noise. People might not believe in you right now. They might not respect you. They might laugh, dismiss you, ignore your effort. But success will change that. When the results come, their words will fade. Their doubts will dissolve. Their judgments will collapse under the weight of your consistency. Because success has a voice. And it doesn't whisper. It speaks in achievements. It shouts through transformation. Sometimes the best response is leveling up. Becoming so good they can't ignore you. So disciplined they can't distract you. So focused they can't figure you out. Because that's when they realize you were never chasing revenge. You were chasing excellence. And in doing so, you outgrew the ones who tried to pull you down. They expected a reaction. Instead, they got your silence. They expected a fight. Instead, they watched your growth. They expected a breakdown. Instead, they witnessed a breakthrough. And that's the kind of revenge they'll never forget. When you choose focus over drama, you win twice. You win in the moment by keeping your peace. And you win in the long run by creating results. Because no insult, no rumor, no attack can stop a person who is committed to the vision. Stay locked in. Stay on course. Let them talk. While they talk about you, you'll be too busy building something they could never imagine. You'll be creating, learning, growing. You'll be stacking wins behind the scenes. You'll be turning silence into success. And when you arrive, when the results show, you won't need to say a thing. The work will say it all. Because focus is the greatest revenge in success. Real, undeniable success speaks louder than anything you could ever say back. Tension fuels negativity. Ignoring it starves it. Negativity survives because someone is always feeding it with time, with energy, with arguments, with reactions. Every time you engage with it, you're handing it your power. You're saying, here, take my peace, take my focus, take my time. And the more you respond, the more it grows. Negativity is like fire. It needs oxygen to keep burning. Your attention is that oxygen. But when you stop giving it air, it dies. When you refuse to argue, it starts to lose energy. When you don't respond, it loses momentum. When you don't validate it, it fades into silence. Because not every insult deserves a reply. Not every opinion matters. Not every invitation to chaos is worth accepting. You've got bigger things to build. You've got better things to chase. You've got peace to protect and goals to reach. But here's the challenge. Negativity knows how to get your attention. It shows up loud. It shows up flashy. It shows up when you're tired, when you're vulnerable, when you're doubting yourself. And it whispers lies that sound a lot like truth. It tells you to defend yourself, to fight back, to prove your point. But that's the trap. Because the moment you take the bait, you've already lost time you'll never get back. You've already let it steal a piece of your day, a piece of your mind. Ignoring it isn't weakness. It's strength. It's having the power to walk away. It's choosing stillness over noise. It's saying, I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I don't need to explain that to anyone. Negativity doesn't want your silence. It wants your reaction. Because reactions give it life. But when you ignore it, you starve it of the one thing it needs to survive, your energy. And where your energy goes, your life flows. You can't grow while constantly feeding things that drain you. You can't rise while trying to pull others out of their own bitterness. Let them sit in the negativity they chose. You don't have to join them. You don't have to match their energy. Stay on your frequency. Protect your environment. Your peace is too expensive to waste on arguments that lead nowhere. Your vision is too valuable to be clouded by noise that adds no value. The people who constantly criticize rarely build anything themselves. They throw stones because that's easier than building something of their own. But you were made to build. You were made to grow, to evolve, to move forward with intention. And to do that, you have to stop feeding the very things trying to keep you stuck. You don't rise by reacting. You rise by letting go, by choosing quiet over chaos, by choosing progress over pride, by choosing purpose over proving. Ignore the noise. Ignore the shadows that shout when they see your light getting brighter. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them waste their breath. Because while they feed negativity, you're building a life that speaks without ever raising its voice. Not everyone deserves your energy. Protect your peace. Your energy is your life. It's your time. It's your presence. It's your intention, your focus, your soul in motion. And not everyone is worthy of access to that. Some people come into your life not to support you, but to drain you. Not to lift you, but to pull you into their chaos. Not to build with you, but to feed off you. And every time you give them your energy, you're giving them a piece of your life you'll never get back. You can be kind, but still have boundaries. You can be compassionate, but still say no. You can care for others and still protect your own peace, because peace is not something you stumble upon. It's something you create. It's something you fight for. It's something you protect, even if it means walking away. The truth is, not every phone call needs to be answered. Not every message needs a reply. Not every opinion needs a reaction. Some people thrive on conflict. They're fueled by drama. They live for attention. They disguise toxicity as truth and chaos as passion. But your life is not a battleground. It's a sanctuary. And you get to choose who enters. You get to choose who stays. You get to decide who gets your energy. That's not selfish. That's survival. Because if you spend all your time fixing other people, defending yourself, proving your worth, you'll look up one day and realize you've neglected the most important person in your life, you. You cannot heal others while breaking yourself. You cannot grow if you're constantly being pulled back. You cannot fly when you're weighed down by people who never wanted you to soar. Start asking, does this add peace to my life, or does it steal it? Does this energize me or exhaust me? Does this align with my values or challenge them? Every relationship is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Every conversation is either feeding your spirit or feeding your stress. You have to be wise about who gets your time, who gets your ear, who gets your space, because when you're focused on peace, you move differently. You stop chasing, you stop proving, you stop fighting battles that lead nowhere. You start choosing environments that breathe life into you, people who speak life over you, moments that restore you, not drain you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away quietly. No drama, no explanation, just a decision that your peace is more important than their approval. And when you do that, when you finally start guarding your energy like your future depends on it, everything begins to change. Your clarity returns, your focus sharpens, your spirit feels lighter, your purpose feels stronger, and you begin to live not in reaction, but in alignment. So protect your peace. Not with walls, but with wisdom. Not with anger, but with awareness. Not with force, but with boundaries. Because your energy is sacred, it's powerful, and it was never meant to be wasted on people who can't see your value, don't match your effort, or only show up to take. You owe yourself more than that. You owe yourself peace. Let your actions do the talking. Results are undeniable. You don't have to announce everything you're about to do. You don't have to convince anyone of who you are. You don't have to defend your dreams or explain your decisions. Just move. Just build, just grow, because words can be debated, opinions can be challenged, and intentions can be misunderstood, but results speak a language that can't be denied. You don't need approval when you have proof. You don't need validation when you have victory. Your grind, your growth, your consistency, that becomes your voice, loud, clear, unshakable. Some people will doubt you no matter how much you explain. Some will mock your vision before it starts to bloom. They'll say it's impossible. They'll say you're not ready. They'll say you're not enough. Don't argue. Don't waste your breath trying to convince them. Just go to work. Let your daily habits be the message. Let your consistency be the reply. Let your results be the answer to every critic who didn't see it coming. Because when the results show up, the room gets quiet. The same people who doubted will watch in silence. The same ones who laughed will sit in awe, not because you shouted louder, but because you worked smarter, because you stayed focused, because you chose action over attention. Noise fades, opinions change, but progress speaks for itself. There's a kind of confidence that comes from doing the work, a quiet kind of strength. It doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need to fight for space. It simply arrives, undeniable. People may question your path, but they can't argue with your result. They may not respect your beginnings, but they can't ignore your outcomes. So stop explaining. Start executing. Stop posting about what you're going to do and just do it. Let success be the proof. Let your transformation tell the story. every late night, every early morning, every sacrifice you made in silence. It all adds up, and one day it becomes the evidence that nothing speaks louder than doing the work. And that noise is designed to pull you away from what matters most. Every day something will try to steal your focus. A notification, a comment, a doubt, a distraction dressed up like urgency. Not everything that feels important is actually important. Not everything that demands your time deserves it. Distraction is the enemy of progress. It doesn't always show up loud. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it comes disguised as opportunity, as comparison, as fear of missing out. And if you're not careful, it will detour your destiny. It will keep you busy, but not productive. It will fill your day, but drain your purpose. It will give you movement, but rob you of momentum. Every time you stop to look at someone else's lane, you lose ground in your own. Every time you compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, you rob yourself of peace. Stay on your path. Your journey is yours. Your timing is yours. Your process is sacred. The distractions will always be there. But so will your purpose if you stay locked in. Success doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right things over and over again. It comes from saying no, not because you're rude, but because you're focused. You can't build something great while chasing everything that glitters. Not all gold is worth grabbing. Not every path is meant for you. And every yes to a distraction is a no to your vision. Distraction doesn't always feel like failure. Sometimes it feels like fun. It feels like fun. It feels like rest. It feels like comfort. But if you're not intentional, comfort becomes a cage. You start postponing your potential for temporary pleasure. You tell yourself just a few minutes and lose hours. You tell yourself, I'll do it tomorrow, and lose days. Success doesn't hate rest. It hates delay. It hates excuses. It hates wasted effort. And distraction is the master of waste. It steals what could have been progress. It interrupts what could have been greatness. And it slows you down so gradually you don't even notice until the months are gone. Time moves fast, but distractions move faster. One scroll becomes 1 hour. One complaint becomes one conversation. One doubt becomes a full detour. And suddenly you're off course, not because you weren't capable, not because you didn't have the tools, but because you lost your focus. Stay locked in. Stay grounded in the why. The vision doesn't need noise. It needs discipline. It needs repetition. It needs a level of focus that says, I'm not here to be everywhere. I'm here to finish what I started. That's how you win. Not by moving faster, but by staying focused longer. Not by pleasing everyone, but by honoring your mission. Not by chasing everything, but by mastering something. Distractions will tempt you with shortcuts, but shortcuts don't lead to legacy. Your path may be slower, it may be harder, but it's yours. And if you stay on it, focused, clear, and consistent, success won't just be possible, it will be inevitable. That elevation requires separation. You can't rise while stuck in drama. You can't fly if you're always weighed down. You can't reach new heights if you're always pulled into low-level chaos. If you want to elevate, you have to separate. Separate from distractions. Separate from negativity. Separate from people who live for gossip but have no goals. Not everyone around you is meant to go where you're going. Some people are only comfortable when you're stuck. They don't want to see you rise, not because you don't deserve it, but because it reminds them of what they're not doing. And so they create drama. They stir chaos. They bait you into battles that steal your energy and delay your growth. They want you reactive, emotional, unfocused. Because when you're stuck in drama, you're no longer building. You're no longer climbing. You're no longer growing. You're stuck, not by force, but by distraction. And here's the truth. The higher you go, the quieter it gets. Elevation is lonely. It requires letting go of comfort zones. It demands discipline. It calls for focus. You can't elevate and entertain drama at the same time. You have to choose. Do you want their approval or your peace? Do you want to fit in or do you want to grow up? Because growth will cost you certain people. It will cost you arguments that no longer interest you. It will cost you invitations to conversations that go nowhere. But in return, gives you clarity. It gives you freedom. It gives you freedom. It gives you peace. It gives you space to build the life you've been dreaming of. Drama thrives on your attention. The more you engage, the bigger it gets. But when you separate from it, it dies. When you don't respond, when you don't explain, when you don't react, the chaos begins to collapse. Because drama needs fuel, and your energy is that fuel. Save it. Protect it. Use it to grow. Use it to move forward. Every time you rise above the noise, you prove to yourself that you're not controlled by emotions, you're guided by purpose. Your elevation will confuse people who knew you only in your struggle. They'll question you. They'll test you. They'll try to pull you back with old tactics. But you've outgrown that version of yourself. You're not who you used to be. You're not available for low vibration conversations. You're not available for small talk about other people's lives. You're not available for the chaos that once kept you distracted. You've made a decision. You're choosing peace over pride, growth over gossip, focus over friction. Because you know that every time you choose silence over argument, discipline over drama, purpose over pettiness, you're rising, you're separating from the noise, you're becoming the person you were always meant to be. And you don't have to announce it. You don't have to explain it. Just rise. Just rise. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them misunderstand. Your elevation will say more than your words ever could. Because the higher you go, the more you'll realize. Silence is power. Peace is strength. And separation isn't rejection, it's preparation. You're not walking away to be cold. You're walking away to get clear. You're rising. And anything that doesn't align with that rise has to be left behind. People mock what they don't understand. Don't take it personally. When people can't see your vision, they'll laugh at it. When they don't understand your passion, they'll criticize it. When they can't grasp your purpose, they'll question your sanity. But that's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. It's their fear. It's their limitations. It's their discomfort with anything that doesn't look familiar. And most of the time, mockery is not about malice. It's about misunderstanding. People fear what they don't know. They doubt what they haven't seen. They reject what challenges their comfort zone. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You don't have to shrink just to fit into someone else's expectations. You don't have to water down your dreams because someone else lacks the courage to chase theirs. Not everyone will get it. Not everyone is supposed to. Your journey is personal. It's unique. It's yours. People who haven't seen your vision won't value your effort. They'll see your sacrifices as foolish, your discipline as obsession, your late nights as wasted time. But don't let their ignorance become your insecurity. Don't internalize their laughter. Don't take their mockery as truth. Because the very people who mock you today may one day admire you. Silently, secretly, or even openly. They may never tell you, but they'll see it. They'll feel it. They'll remember the moment they laughed at you and the moment you rose anyway. Greatness often starts in isolation. Before the applause, before the recognition, before the validation. It starts in silence. It starts with you doing what no one understands, simply because you do. Your vision wasn't given to them. It was given to you. So don't expect them to carry it. Don't expect them to nurture it. Don't expect them to believe in something they were never meant to build. Their mockery is not your enemy. It's your test. Can you keep building while being doubted? Can you keep climbing while being laughed at? Can you stay faithful to your dream when others see nothing but foolishness? That's the test. That's what separates dreamers from doers. The ones who get discouraged and quit, from the ones who smile, say nothing, and keep going. Let them laugh. Let them mock. Let them misunderstand. Because what they mock today, they may admire tomorrow. What they reject now, they may one day wish they support. But you don't do it for their validation. You do it because something inside you says, this is mine to build. This is my calling. This is my lane. And just because they don't see the full picture doesn't mean you stop painting. The world doesn't need more people waiting for permission. It needs more people willing to walk alone until the vision speaks for itself. Until the results silence the critics. Until the outcomes make the doubters think twice. Keep moving. Keep building. And remember, when people mock what they don't understand, it says more about their limitations than it ever will about your potential. Ignoring them frees you and gives you the clarity to build your best life. There is power in silence. There is strength in walking away without a word. Not because you're weak, not because you're afraid, but because you've decided to stop giving energy to people who don't deserve it. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to respond to every opinion thrown your way. You don't have to prove yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. When you stop explaining, you start evolving. When you stop reacting, you start creating. You start creating when you stop chasing validation. You start building your own peace. It's about alignment. It's choosing to keep your energy focused on what matters, because drama is loud, negativity is loud, doubt, hate, and judgment. They all shout. But peace is quiet. Clarity is calm. Growth doesn't need to announce itself. It just happens. And you can't grow while constantly trying to convince others why you're worthy. You can't reach new levels while dragging old opinions with you. Ignoring them frees you from the weight of their words, from the grip of their expectations, from the trap of their limitations. And that freedom creates space. Space to think clearly. Space to breathe deeply. Space to reconnect with your purpose. When you stop listening to the noise, you start hearing your own voice again. The voice that says, "You've got this." The voice that reminds you why you started. The voice that doesn't care who believes in you, because it knows what's inside you. You were never meant to carry their opinions on your back. You were never meant to shrink just so others feel tall. You were never meant to pause your life to respond to people who add no value to it. No value to it. Some people speak from insecurity, some from jealousy, some from fear, and some just don't understand your path. That's okay. You don't need them to understand. You need to keep moving. Ignoring them doesn't mean you're blind. It means you're wise enough to see where your energy belongs. It means you value your peace more than their approval. It means you're ready to stop being distracted by noise that doesn't deserve your attention. Because once you stop feeding the chaos, everything becomes clearer. You see what matters. You remember who you are. You take control of your time. And most importantly, you take control of your focus. You stop living for reaction and start living with intention. You stop trying to be seen and start working to become something worth seeing. That's how you build your best life. Not through noise, not through arguments, not through trying to be right in the eyes of others, but by being real with yourself, by choosing silence over drama, by choosing purpose over popularity, by choosing peace over proving. Ignore them, not because they don't matter at all, but because your future matters more. And once you finally let go of needing their approval, you step into a freedom that no one can take away. So walk your path, stay focused, stay grounded, and let your silence speak louder than their noise ever could. Because the life you're building doesn't need their permission. It only needs your commitment. Let them talk. You keep building. Let them doubt. You keep rising. And in the end, they won't remember what you said. They'll remember what you became.